Welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We have a December 3rd council meeting to talk about, which in Maple Grove times, it's a long meeting, about 2 hours and 40 minutes. A couple main topics that were discussed, some development issues coming up, so we'll talk about those. And then we've got some updates of other things happening around the city that we'll get to. It's the holiday season, so certainly a lot going on in the city. Let's talk about the meeting from the 3rd. Again, from consent agenda, nothing pulled by the council. You just wanted to make one mention about community development. Give us an update of some of the work that's happening behind the scenes there.
Yeah, so there was an item here to extend the contract with WSB. Eric Zwaver's been filling in for us on an interim basis while we've been working on kind of some restructuring and doing the recruitment for a new director position. So this extends his contract through mid-January. We do plan on the December 17th agenda to have an authorization to hire on that agenda for the new Director of Community and Economic Development. So that with that hire and getting through the next month of transition, we'll be kind of wrapping up that process.
Very good. We'll get that information to you after the next meeting.
Yep.
There was a large crowd at the meeting on the 3rd, and that was because of this next item on the agenda. A great opportunity, some special business. You had the oath of office for some officers. Tell us about those folks.
Yep, 3 new officers who've pretty much completed their FTO training, and now we go through the formal process to swear them in. So Officer Kimberly Kruger, Brandon Gross, and Derek Jetson. I've had the opportunity to sit and visit with each one of them, and they'll be great additions to our team out there on the streets. You'll probably see them out and about, but it always attracts, it's nice to see, their families all come. This is a big deal for their families, and always nice to see, their families pin their badge on, and usually a lot of emotion tied to that. This is a big sense of accomplishment for them. So this was nice to have them there that night, and then we had quite a few we had a lot of supporting staff, leadership from the police department in the house as well, and some canine issues that came next, so that was kind of fun to deal with.
Tell us about those. Let's talk about some money that came to the city, and then maybe a use for that money right away.
That's right, yeah. So the Maple Grove Lions Club provided another donation in support of the canine program. As you'll recall, we added back a canine officer. It's been about 20 years since we'd had canine in the city. So Kalo was added to the staff this summer, and so the Maple Grove Lions Club had previously donated $5,000. This was a $20,000 donation from the Maple Grove Lions Club. So really remarkable, $25,000 worth of support for this program. So that's very appreciated by the community, by the city, and their work in the community. And then the next item was, so we had a number of the Lions Club members there and had an opportunity to take some pictures. Kalo came, so that was nice. They got to have their picture with Kalo. He's getting to be a little bit of a social butterfly, I think, which we, don't make him too soft.
Good and bad,
right? Yeah, right. He's good in crowds, so he's doing a good job. So then the next item was to add a second canine police handler dog. And going back into this program, our intent was to add one and kind of get that under our belt and get that set. And then in the next year add a second canine. Quite a bit of lead time involved with securing the dog, planning for the training. The training is quite lengthy, so it takes a good 6 to 8 months by the time you kind of make the commitment till the time that they can really be here in the community. So there's a good amount of lead time associated with this. So with this approval, then we'll get started on that process of getting the dog and getting going on some training. We'll have to select an ex-canine officer that will be the handler for the dog and whatnot. So there's some process associated with that. This dog, we had a seizure out on I-94, a drug situation where a large amount of cash was secured from that drug bust. This was a pretty big bust out on I-94. And so when that occurs, there's a portion of that seizure that goes through a lot of process with the courts and determining how that money, whether that money can be kept and convictions and all those kinds of things. So it takes time to move through that system. That's all been completed now, and so basically the costs associated with this second dog are all being paid for by that seizure stop that was done out on I-94, Officer Stephen Parker. So that was a big deal to the city, and a great use for those funds. This is what we should be doing with this money, is putting it back into this enforcement piece. And these dogs work drug patrol. Kaylo's been through the drug training now, has
Sure.
been out on a couple of scenes. And so great to be able to say, you know, we took those dollars and put them forward towards enforcement and helping that issue in the community. So
Very good.
second canine probably, I would say next summer time frame coming.
We'll
You'll
keep
see
you
them in the community.
updated on the exciting news as that moves through the
Yep.
process, and we understand the name will be given, so we'll
Yeah.
let you know about that as well.
Yes.
Next item was the budget, and again, there's
Yeah.
been a lot of discussion by city staff and then by the council about this
Yeah.
throughout the last months.
Yep.
Was about 17 minutes, so they went through the entire budget and
Yep.
displayed that, and then it was an opportunity for a hearing, which is normal process, correct?
Yep, truth and taxation hearing. Typically do it the first meeting in December, and then we come back at the second meeting in December to adopt that final levy and budget due to the county by December 28th. So we
Okay.
have a little bit of time here, but not too much discussion. I think everybody had kind of settled into where we had gotten to on the budget. We're sitting at about a 1.63% levy increase, about a 2.20 budget increase, so pretty conservative approach this year. Some highlights of the budget, we're dealing with some of this, the community development restructuring and staffing piece. We have within the budget to add an associate planner and then augment some of the hours of a full part-time staff person in the department. So that's one piece. And then adding a light equipment operator in public works and some designation of a lead worker for heavy equipment. So pretty modest approach this year to the budget, and I think that's probably reflected in, you know, the council's you know, review of that as well as the community response. So good budget process this year, and many thanks go to Steve Hauer and the finance department and all the directors that really work hard to bring forward thoughtful budget requests and kind of keep them in line with, you know, where we want to see that levy come in.
Very good. So
yep.
one more step on the 17th,
Yep.
and the budget is set to go. Let's move now to community development items from the December 3rd meeting, and a couple that took a little bit longer time here, and one was one that had been tabled quite some time ago and now comes back. This is the Grove multi-tenant retail building.
Yep.
Give us a little background about why this was tabled, how it was going through the process, and what was discussed last night.
Yep, so this one was last in front of the council in June. And so we had been working on some traffic analysis back and forth with the developer, and then the developer, you know, was comfortable with just sort of pushing this off for a little bit. So how the story ended, initially we had started with a building that had two tenants in it, two separate tenants, and a lot of there was concern about traffic circulation on the site. This is just kind of directly across the street from the hospital, next to the Steve's Auto World. There's this corner little end cap lot there that is available for development. So through that process and through looking at the traffic study looks at the broad area, really that whole area up, you know, up to the residential on the north, heading north up Fernbrook, takes in the Hy-Vee site, all the hospital area. Because those roads up there were really constructed based on the eventual land use of that entire district.
Sure.
And so we wanted to take another, you know, look at that given what's come to date, you know, what's been developed to date, and some of those uses tweak a little bit as those projects come forward. So long story short, we ended up with basically it says multi-tenant, there's two, it's Caribou and Einstein. So
Okay.
it's basically a Caribou coffee with an Einstein bagels, you know, sort of embedded in there, one operation. Reducing that building footprint by about 2,200 square feet, so it really brought the building size down, which gave them a lot more room on the site to accommodate that stacking and queuing for the drive-through,
Right.
and hopefully reduce any, you know, kind of those traffic conflicts at that entry point. So I think through that process and kind of the concerns of the community, I think we ended up with a better project that'll work better probably for the long run. Very attractive architecture to this building. They did a really nice job there, a lot of stone and glass, and I think it'll be a nice addition, a nice outdoor seating area associated with it. So yeah, so this one got approval to move forward. So probably see construction on this site in the spring.
Okay, very good. Another item under community development, took about the same amount of time to discuss, is something called the Burn Boot Camp.
Yeah.
And this is a site that people might be familiar in the city of Maple Grove that is now getting a new life. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So this is the former IHOP site, just kind of over there, just west of I-94 on Weaver Lake Road, down the hill from Boston Sci. You know, this is a site that we've struggled with a bit in terms of its reuse. A few years ago, we had a proposal for a self-storage facility. It was quite a large building, the massing of it, the height and whatnot, and people felt like it was too much for the site. Those types of facilities probably have the lowest traffic impact that you can find out there. So from a traffic perspective, it worked, but I think just the massing of that building is what folks couldn't quite get good with. So this came forward. It did require a PUD agreement amendment because a little bit of a change of use. So this will be kind of a drop-in fitness facility, Burn Boot Camp. There's one currently located in Eden Prairie. It's kind of a new franchise, but they're located throughout the country. So this one, more just internal modifications to the building.
Okay.
But this one gained approval, and that'll go forward. And they really don't have any exterior work much to do, so they'll probably get started on that internal remodel here pretty quick.
Very good.
Yep.
So things continuing to change in the city, and there was one more development item, and this was the longest item of the night, and you predicted it might take a little bit longer time because this is something that's turning, again, an existing facility into something bigger. Passion Church.
Yeah.
Give us a little perspective on where this facility is going to be located and what's going on there.
Sure. So Passion Church is a church that's been in the community for about 7 years. They meet up at Maple Grove Senior High today, and they do have some office facilities elsewhere in the community, but they were really looking to either build or find a church home here in Maple Grove. So this was an existing business. This building has been a number of things. It has been a medical office. It was a union assembly hall. It was then kind of a mental health facility. So it's had a few different lives. So this is just north of Bass Lake Road off of Sycamore, just kind of between Sycamore and 494. So the back of this building backs up to the 494 corridor there. So Passion Church had a proposal to come in, and they're going to acquire the building, remodel, and do an addition. I think the biggest piece that number of issues, we had a lot of conditions in the staff report because we kind of moving a little quick on this one in terms of its review, but I think we settled out most of the issues other than they're going to be adding on basically kind of what is an auditorium type space to the building. And there was a lot of discussion. There's kind of a big, a taller wall, and it was all kind of one material, and I think the desire was to break that up a little bit and maybe look at some other building materials that we could be used to break that up a little bit. So the architect and the church agreed to go back around on that, work with staff to come up with some options. This one will have to come back on December 17th for that resolution of approval. So at that time then we would have some of those revised elevations and building materials for the council to take a look at. So one more step on that one, but that one got approval to move forward to the next step as well.
Very good. We'll update you on that after the meeting on the 17th. Those were the main items covered in the meeting. A couple of reports from staff. Community development, the fun does not stop there. There's more to come. And one is one that's come back, Schuler Shoes, a final plat there, and the master plan work. Give us an update on those two projects. Yeah,
so Schuler Shoes had come before us to get kind of preliminary plat concept design approval for a new, what would be their kind of their office headquarters, just east of where the Village at Arbor Lakes project is, the Kelly Dorn project there. They hadn't pulled the trigger on the next steps on this one yet, so this is them moving forward with final plat. So supposing that they'll get going this summer on that, but basically moves their off. Currently they're on Main Street, and their second level there does have some of their office space for their headquarters in it. This will move all their offices over there, and then they would have the store, you know, be kind of the main floor of this two-story facility. So good to see this one moving forward as well.
Yes, and then the master plan work that continues.
Yeah, we are in deep, and this is if development ever slowed around here, that I would say this would be good winter work, but we have 3 master plan activities going on right now. So the one that's leading, that was started first, is the 105th area, kind of that 105th, 610 area. We've then pulled the trigger on kind of the 610, like the northwest quadrant of the city, the big area west of 94, north of 610, and then the gravel mining area south, doing some more definition to things down there. So they're all moving forward. That's kind of the order. We anticipate being in front of the council to look at some of those development scenarios in the 105th 105th, 610 area, probably January, February of 2019, and then the others will follow suit. So this is kind of the fun work. You know, you get to dream a little bit and think about what might be and lay it out a bit. Develop what actually ends up happening. Sometimes looks a little bit different, or generally looks a little bit different than the master plan. But always good to have some guidance out there for the development community. So,
good.
Yep. Project, those are moving forward.
Snippets of updates as they come along. I'm sure it'll be a topic each time through community development. Public Works, just a quick note, and this was something that was mentioned and has already happened. I-94 noise impact outreach. Tell us about that process and again what people are talking about here. Yeah,
so this is associated with the unbonded overlay construction of the Dayton, used to be Brockton Interchange, now it's the Dayton Parkway Interchange. They've renamed it. That project moving forward really in earnest in 2020. So because this is along a federal highway system, we have to do a review, or MnDOT does a review of noise wall considerations throughout the corridor. So they're really looking at the addition of about 4 different walls through Maple Grove, and then of course there'll be more as they get north up into Dayton and Rogers. Sort of a continuation of what you saw along the 494 corridor when that project was done. There were noise walls added in that section. So the meeting last night was kind of a committee meeting for those that are interested parties. This issue will be coming back in front of the council more formally here after the first of the year. There is one segment of wall that the city will have some voting stand in because there's a trail segment, and then we own a senior housing facility in its proximity. So more to come on this one, but this was kind of the, I think this might be, I don't know if this is the last committee meeting, but they're kind of wrapping up that community engagement process.
Very good.
Yep.
2 final notes that Heidi gave at the meeting, and one is the Angel of Hope event. We'll talk about that more in just a couple minutes with some specific details for you. And then coming up, the next council meeting, CAC Arts Center Study Report. Give us a preview of that.
Yeah, so the concept of an arts center here in Maple Grove has certainly been kind of floating about for a number of years. We had a proposal come forward from a group that was representing sort of an innovation center. With that, the council asked the CAC to sort of dig in on this issue, the Citizens Advisory Committee, and do some study about the options. And so they are going to be presenting that report to the council on the 17th of December.
Very good. We'll update you next time. So that's the meeting from December 3rd. Again, a long meeting, about 2 hours and 40 minutes, but there you have your brief recap. Now some other things happening around the city. First, we want to touch on some notices from the city, some information coming up. And first is reminder about homestead applications. The date is coming close.
December 15th is kind of the deadline to get your homestead application in there. And when people got their tax and their T&T notice from the county about what their taxes are going to be in 2019. Hopefully that triggered for them, if they haven't filed for homestead yet, they would notice that difference on their tax bill. So make sure people are paying attention. Go back to that statement from the county about your 2019 taxes. Make sure if you've purchased that home, you know, within the last year or so, make sure you got that homestead designation there.
Very good.
Yep.
We talked about police swearing in earlier in the program. Now we're going to talk about another job opening, and this is something that is really an ongoing process in the police department as people move up and retire, correct?
Yeah. So we're recruiting for another police officer, and I think we're going to be kind of in this ongoing churn for a number of years here as we see some of our more senior or more tenured officers retiring, and then, you know, we're going to be swearing in a new sergeant on the 17th of December. We had a sergeant retire, and so we have an officer moving up into that position, and so, you know, it's kind of the circle of life here. So you'll probably continue to see that, those openings. But this position's open through Wednesday, January 19th, or January 9th, I'm sorry, January 9th.
Okay.
So encourage people to go online and get that information if they're interested.
Very good. Then there's another call out for residents to get involved on some commissions. You've got a few commissions looking for some help. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so Arbor Committee, which deals with kind of the urban forest here in Maple Grove, as well as the Transit Commission. For Transit Commission, the folks that serve on that, we request that they are transit riders. We're really looking for, you know, actual feedback about the services that we're providing and any issues that might be occurring out there. So both those opportunities available on our website.
Okay. Information through end of December is when those applications are due. Fire safety is something that is a topic usually at this time of the year. And tell us about a class that's coming up.
Yeah, fire safety class Thursday, December 13th. Maple Grove Fire Prevention is offering this class. It's free of charge on smoke alarms, residential fire escape plans, and then general discussions about all things related to fire risk in your home. 6 to 7 p.m. at the Maple Grove Fire Station 4, which is out on Lawndale, 8925 Lawndale Lane. And then they're looking to kind of continue to roll this out, so more dates will be offered in 2019. So if you're unable to make it here in December, it's not the last opportunity. We do ask that people call or email us to sign up. Information's available on our website, so maybe just give a call up to the fire department and they can get you directed.
Very good.
Yep.
City of Maple Grove very health conscious, and one of the things they want you to do if you're not busy on the 21st of December, give some blood.
Yeah, or in the holiday spirit of giving.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Friday, December 21, 8 to 11 in the morning, we will host the Memorial Blood Drive there. They pull their bus right out in front of the Government Center. It's pretty slick to come on by and do that. So you can go to, I think it's the Memorial Blood Center Hero Hub. I'm not even going to try to give you that email address because that's not going to work. Memorial Blood Center website. Let's go there.
You can find, and they usually have all the locations where blood drives are coming, so I would guess Maple Grove will be located, or you might be able to call the Government Center and get some help.
You can. And then our sponsor code is 0610. So that's an easy one to remember if you go to their website.
Open to business, we've talked about that many times. Let's talk about another date coming up for people that might be in the business world or thinking to get into it. Yeah,
so Tuesday, December 11th, 10 to 1 at the Government Center. We do ask that you call to make an appointment, 612-843-3260. Information available on our website. This is really to get access to business counselors. If you're a current business owner who has questions or thinking about hopping in, great resource here available in the community.
Very good. Angel of Hope, we mentioned earlier that it was something that came up during the council meeting. Very special date in Maple Grove on an annual basis. Give us a little preview of that event.
Yeah, Thursday, December 6th. So coming up here quick, 7 p.m. at the Maple Grove Arboretum. It's a really nice event. It's usually very brisk and cold out that evening, but it's pretty quick. They move through the process pretty quickly, and so candles are provided, and there's some nice speakers and music. So come on out and support the community.
Again, more information on the website and also on social media. Farmers Market, the indoor season is going. Tell us about the season and what we might find now.
So 2 markets coming up quick here, Thursday, December 6th and the 20th, 3 to 6 p.m., both in the community center. Live music, and of course a lot of the vendors have gifts for the holidays for you there.
Stop in and find out more. Let's talk recreation in the city. The season changes, and that means we have maybe some indoor events, but not all of them. Still, ice is a part of the fun here. First, talk about the pop-up Rec Fest. What is a pop-up Rec Fest and where does it happen?
Yeah, so this is kind of part of our Park and Rec Department desire to kind of get out in the community. They did a number of these in the neighborhood parks this summer, kind of bringing rec programs to our neighborhood parks and our neighborhoods. So this one, because of the winter, it's going to be held at the Maple Grove Sports Dome. It's all free. Games Wednesday, December 12th, 6 to 8 p.m. Nerf Blasters Mini Golf. No registration required. Open to all ages. Just show up at the Dome 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, December 12th.
Sounds like lots of fun. And if you do love the outdoors and the cold and ice, here's the opportunity. Tell us about the Central Park skating loop. How is it going?
Yeah, it's going great. And this weather has been really helpful for it. We haven't had rain or anything like that. So, and you can, skating is free. There are concessions available for purchase at the facility, as well as you can rent a pair of skates for $6 if you don't have those with you. No school days. They'll be open longer hours those days. So as we head into the holiday season here, just keep that in mind. And then on Saturday, December 15th from 5 to 8 p.m., this is a fun event. We're going to have Skate with Santa.
Nice.
I understand that Santa will be by the fire. There's a fire pit there on the side. They talked about getting them on skates, but thought that might be a little bit too much. So special stop, Santa's making this special stop at the skating loop. There'll be holiday music playing outside, twinkle lights. It'll be a nice evening. Yeah,
great place to stop by. And if you don't have anything planned yet for New Year's Eve, the city can help you out. Tell us about the big party that happens on a yearly basis.
Yeah, so this Monday, December 31st, 2 to 6 p.m. at the community center. Nominal $10 per person to get in. There are concessions available during the event, but all kinds of things going on. So children's dance music, inflatables, crafts, ice skating. the rinks will be open,
Sure.
Maple Grove indoor playground, swimming, all those kinds of things. And then they do a balloon drop countdown at 5:45 p.m. So you still have your evening left to you,
Very
and
nice.
maybe, send the kids someplace, and they've already had their New Year's festivities. So go to the city's website to purchase tickets. They'll be available until 1 p.m. on December 31. If all the tickets are sold, tickets will also be sold at the door for $13. And then the community center will close on 1 p.m. at 1 p.m. on New Year's Eve just for this event. So it'll be kind of be closed for other things.
Very good.
Yep.
Another annual tradition backing up into December just a little bit, Toys for Tots, and the city participates. Tell us
Yep.
about drop-off locations.
Yeah, so drop-off locations are at the Government Center, the Public Safety Facility, the Community Center, and Public Works. And then donations are accepted through December 13th, and then they go deliver them down to the Care 11. Another piece kind of tied to this is our Shop with a Cop program
Right.
that we do. Walmart partners with us on this one. That's this coming Monday evening. So you'll see some social media posts about this. But this is a great program for the community and gets a lot of kids out to shop for their family that maybe they don't have that opportunity, and gets our law enforcement out interacting with youth. So that you'll see coming up here Monday, December 10th.
So great ways to give in the city. You can
Yes.
give gifts here or give your blood, as we mentioned
Yes.
earlier. Two final events to talk about, and again, if you're watching this quickly after we're
Yep.
taping it here, one on the 6th, one on the 8th, and there's more holiday fun in the city. First at the hospital.
Yeah, so the hospital hosts this event annually. It's the annual Light the Grove event. I actually went last year. It was a really nice event for families. Thursday, December 6th, 5 to 7 p.m. at the hospital. They have Santa is there, and they do pictures, and they have live reindeer, horse-drawn trolley rides, hot cocoa treats, carolers, face painting. They kind of
Very
have
fun.
it all, and it's all kind of in that lobby, the big lobby space of the hospital. So Thursday, December 6th, 5 to 7 p.m. at the hospital.
Okay.
And then our last event is Winter Wonderland. So the Shops at Arbor Lakes is hosting a free holiday event Saturday, December 8th from 11 to 2 p.m. Santa and his reindeer will be kind of in that central courtyard area at the Shops. And then that same day they're hosting a Pixie Dust Winter Princess Ball from 2 to 4:30. It's an indoor event, and that does require reservations, dancing, live DJ, face painting, games, activities for the whole family. Shops at arborlakes.com on their
Okay.
website for more information about that.
Wonderful. Well, as you see, a lot coming up. No reason to sit inside
No.
during December in Maple Grove. Plenty going on. Heidi, thank you very much for your time and the information once again. Let's leave you with some information here. The website is maplegrovemn.gov. We mentioned a number of things that are coming up that you might need some information from the website to follow up on, so go there. Next meeting is December 17th, 7:30 at the Government Center. 494-6000, the city's phone number, and 533-1710, our view response line for questions or comments. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.